I let all the emotions go. Yeah, I'm so tired, I'm so happy and stressed.
That's on it's that instant sugar you kind of like I'm addicted to it.
How to get on, I'm strong for life, I'm strong for life. And go down. I let all the emotions go.
But yeah, it takes some. Yeah, me too. I was like, I want 4 brunch.
It is 10:42. I'm calling this meeting of the Libertarian Party of Indiana State Central Committee to order. Madam Secretary, are you ready to call the roll? You don't have an agenda?
Is that you?
That's
That's
1%.
Oh my God, it was over with the coffee, but I'm good.
Do I have this thing?
Okay, you ready for a roll?
No. You got it.
Thank you so much. Evan,
Here,
Brenton. Sean,
She's on,
Yeah.
yeah.
she's present. I see her face.
I saw it too. Okay, I'm here, sort of. If anybody has any Tylenol or Advil, I'll happily take some. Treasurer, Michael Schultz.
I got it.
It's not, I'm looking for.
Oh, yeah, they did just do a random drug screen, so I'm probably safe for a while.
Live video on YouTube.
Oh, sorry.
So did that illegal second.
Oh, my mechanic disappeared after going. Communications Director, Michelle Holiday,
Not present.
Tech Director, Chuck Hagerman,
Present.
Field Director, Morgan Rigg.
I'm hearing them somewhere.
Political Director, Chris Gold. District 1, John.
Present.
District 2. Elizabeth.
Yes.
Christie here. District 4, Dennis.
Dennis is not here, but they do have the proxy, standing proxy of Danny Lindy.
Okay. Okay. District 5, Greg Nolan.
Present by Zoom.
District 6, Luke Lomax.
On Zoom.
Yeah.
No proxy at the
No
last
proxy.
minute.
District 7 is absent with no proxy.
District 8.
District 8 is a vacancy. So
Okay.
I didn't know.
or we have somebody who's going to be here, and I believe that somebody will make a friendly motion when we get to the agenda to move under item 10B, to move that up to the first item would be handy. But so for right now, there's a vacancy and doesn't count towards quorum.
Okay. I have no. Okay, okay, that's District 1. District 9, Greg Hirsch.
Here.
He's down in Kentucky, right?
He's going to
I'm at the
the
Kentucky.
convention.
Yeah, he does every year.
While you're down there, Greg, go up to Randall Daniel, and since he is no longer going to be the state chair, because he's not running for re-election and he's now our district rep, let him know that Indiana expects him to purchase a ticket and come to our state convention the first weekend of March. And I do expect him or Dustin to participate in our monthly state central committee meetings.
I will tell him that. I'll be glad to. I didn't know he wasn't running for re-election.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
We are recording.
That's fine. Good. I mean, I'm in my car right now. I'm not actually in the convention.
We'll find out, but he's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, Madam Secretary.
Assistant Secretary Clayton.
I'm here.
Let's see, Deputy Political Director Paul Copeland.
Present.
Okay, saw him.
It's very quiet.
Very quiet. And special guest, I did not get.
We have Tanya Millis.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Well, we went,
Tanya.
yes.
uh,
And I had her
You're
name
no,
correct.
you're no longer an officer in the county party, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so just as an observer. Okay, and then Lori Schillings, Chair of Hamilton County. And William Henry, the Treasurer of Elkhart County.
I am on the convention committee.
That doesn't count. Adrian Engelberg. Who is
Say
the
that again, sorry.
Adrian Engelberg, just put Adrian. ADRIAN. E. Period. Engelberg, because I don't spell it.
Would they care to spell that?
They're on Zoom and he is the county chair of Du Bois County. Chuck, is that all of our guests on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That is all the guests, Madam Secretary, that I see. Yes. Okay. All good? Oh, check it. Special thing. If you ever see me at the meeting, not in front of my computer, not in front of my laptop, and I am not wearing my glasses, the first person to call it out after the meeting has started gets a treat. Don't know what that treat would be, but it will be something you actually like and want. It's not gonna be a hearty handshake. It'll be like a.
You will never, you won't call me on the phone for like a month.
Nope. It will also be something that is within my capabilities, and that is not. Okay. Are you ready to move on? Okay, you're done? Okay.
I mean, I've never done.
Are there any, having seen the presentation presented of the agenda, are there any amendments or changes to the agenda from a sitting board member who is capable of doing such?
Would you like me to make a motion to move number 10B to the top of the agenda?
I mean, it's totally within you if you would like to.
I would like
not
to make
object.
that motion.
Okay. So Mr. Hagerman has motioned to move number 10A, 10B, the 8th district vacancy to the next item on the agenda. Is there a second?
After appointment of time.
That would still be the next item on the agenda. It can't be within the same block. It has to be within the greater section. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Morgan. All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Aye. Okay, anybody against, any opposed? Okay, hearing none, the agenda is so adopted. Are there any, or so amended, excuse me. Are there any other changes or amendments to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Okay, next item of business then moves to the 8th district vacancy. Oh, yeah, you're right, thank you. Mr. Ray, will you?
I accept, Mr. Evans.
Thank you. Mr. Ray. I called you Mr. Morgan again, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
But hey, at least I realized I did it. It only took the last SCC meeting you're serving on for me to realize without being. Okay, next item, the 8th district vacancy. Mr. Solomon sent me last week a notice of resignation. He is resigning for a couple of reasons. None of them are bad. He's just really busy with preparing for law school and being the president of the Darmstadt Town Council. He's just overwhelmed. Their district actually has a district committee, and they have additional bylaws that requires the district rep to call the district convention. And he was having a hard time doing that within his schedule. He asked me if he could in his resignation, could I appoint someone, and then they could move a little bit quicker getting things done. And I said yes. And then I reread the bylaws after that had all happened and realized, no, I can't. We actually, for the vacancy, the board has to approve my recommendation. If no one was selected at the time of the convention, then I could appoint without approval. But since it's a vacancy, you guys have to vote. Mr. Solomon is going to stay active with the state party and with his county party, and he's going to continue serving in his elected position down there. He's maintaining his membership and his monthly contribution. None of that is changing. He's just a little too busy right now. I did make him agree to take on one small project per year. And it'll probably be something to do with like the campus outreach. Which I like that. I'm not looking down. He did ask that I appoint Adrian Engelberth, who is the Du Bois County Chair. And he did respond to me in writing that he would accept the appointment. So at this point, I get to make the motion since it's an appointment by the chair with approval by the board. I am appointing Adrian Engelberth to serve as the 8th district rep through the convention.
Now I definitely need his name spelled.
I'll give it to you. Is it on
It's
there?
on Zoom, yeah.
It's on there, yes.
Can you read it out, Chuck?
Yes, EN
Hang on, E-N
GEL
G-E-O G-O
BER
B-E-R
TH.
T-H. Adrian.
Yes.
Is it E?
No, E. No. I was before I was saying E, like E period, because I couldn't.
Oh,
that's what I was
sorry.
saying. So this is a simple, it's an appointment. So I'm asking for the board to either approve or reject that through a vote. I believe a voice vote would suffice. All those in favor of accepting my appointment, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Okay, congratulations, Adrian. You are now the district rep. You still need to have your district convention prior to the state convention. Otherwise, I'll be forced to force you into continuing to serve in that capacity as a convention appointment. And now you can update it to show the 8th district is being served by Adrian, and he is present. He's still on the Zoom call, right?
Yes.
Would you like to have a couple minutes to say something to the board, Adrian?
I would like to say that thank you, I guess, right? No, I thank you so much for doing this. I guess I've been a libertarian for a long time, even though I've only joined the party a couple of years ago, and I'm looking forward to growing the party and getting people elected, which is what I tell everyone in Du Bois County. The point of what we're doing is to get people elected. So that's what my goal is in District 8, to grow the party in District 8 so we can get people elected and make positive change.
Thank you, sir. All right, next item on the agenda are the officer reports, chair's report. I just want to first say thank you to the people who stepped up while I was literally laying on my back. I appreciate it. You know, Christy, you did great. Chuck, thank you. Danny, thank you. Quite a few people stepped up and helped do a lot of things that would have fallen through the cracks. So I do greatly appreciate that. The downside is now I know you're all capable of doing it. Therefore, see the Sunday agenda, post convention. But thank you guys for that. I am doing a lot better. Every day there's still pain, but it's a bearable pain. And I was very skeptical of the physical therapy timeline of recovery. I was actually really worried that it would never get better. And now seeing that I have days that are not pain-free, but pain tolerant, makes me realize that yes, there actually can be good recovery. There's other areas of my body that are being strengthened through it, which is helping even more. So I am back in front of my computer. I can only spend 1 hour a day sitting down, and then I have to get up and walk for 15 minutes for every hour. With the understanding that I won't be doing that during meetings. And my physical therapist is fine with it, but said that they would torture me later because of it. So I'm still suffering for you all. But I do appreciate it. Things are getting a lot better. I will eat up some of my time to talk about tech stuff, which is I had multiple meetings with the new PTO of the National Party. Andy Burns resigned right before Christmas and did not finish quite a few projects, including the Mosaico that would allow county chairs to do emails, massive bulk emails.
Yes, I said
It's a bit of a pain. Sorry.
In talking with the new CTO, we went over a lot of the problems that we were having, some things that we would like to see fixed, things we prioritized for the CRM. And he's working very closely with me to get those things done. They've actually even allocated a budget for an outside developer to be hired to finish those projects. So as it stands right now, as far as the CRM is concerned, I feel pretty good with National, but it's also going to remain a trust but verify standpoint. I will never be fully unprepared for the worst case scenario. But at this point, things are going really well with us in National from a tech standpoint. I did receive an email invite to a discussion with the state chairs in the National chair, an hour and a half notice on the Rage Against the War Machine rally controversies. A lot of us were very upset that we were getting the notice an hour and a half beforehand on it was either a Saturday or a Sunday. And that they knew they wanted to have that call, they should have told us the day before, instead of an hour and a half before. There were very few state chairs who were on that call. I was one of them. At that time, my position was, for years, I've said that we need to build single issue coalitions. It doesn't matter who it is. If there's one thing that we agree on, let's work together on that one thing. But there were some issues, some significant issues with one of the scheduled speakers who was not invited on the LP side, but was still invited. This person was disinvited, and when this person was disinvited, all of the anti-war people threw a fit and said they weren't going to come. And Angela was trying to work that out as best she could. And I said, before anybody throws shade, there's a lot of factors that go into it, a big event like that. A lot of that money is non-refundable because it's spent on permits, security, insurance, marketing that's already been done. You can't get that money back. So you have to think about that. I said, if it was me, and those people walked away, I would leave their names up, cross it out, and put a reason why they left on the website. I would say, you don't want to come, fine, we're telling people why you're not coming. That's on you. And we're never going to invite you to a thing again because of this. Get new speakers. Maybe it sucks. Maybe you lose money. Maybe you end up having to cancel. Sometimes it's better to walk away from a bad situation. But I also said the chair has to think about what's best for the party, not the movement, not the cause, not any particular caucus, but the entire party as a whole needs to decide what's in the best interest of the party and then move forward from that and then act based off of that. And it could be the thing that people don't want. It could be to continue to hold the event. That may be within the best interest of the party, but that's what you should be basing it on, not anything else. That was my response. I have since disconnected from all of that. I wasn't following it before that, and I'm not following it now because it's not happening here, so I don't care. I care, but like this much. Yeah, so that's it for my chair's report. Are there any questions? Any other topics that anybody wants to bring up in my chair's report? Because that's all I really have.
I appreciate your nuanced perspective.
I got thank yous from both sides of the argument,
Yes,
and I also got hate mail from both sides of the argument. So I'm like, hey, that's a win. Both sides are happy and pissed off. I'm good with that. That lets me know I had the right position. Okay, hearing no other questions, any other comments, Madam Secretary, or Secretary's report? I did see, I'm not 100% sure, it may have been a pain pill hallucination. But did I see minutes emailed out this morning?
You did, and previous ones.
It's still my heart.
2 a.m.
I didn't look at them, but I saw the email.
There.
Are they ready to be adopted?
I believe so. I mean,
Has anybody reviewed the minutes? Did you proceed?
Yeah.
Are there any amendments? I trust you.
I didn't see it.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes for the previous meeting and the meeting before?
they were like about pulling it up on my email, and I'm not on the internet, you know.
Is there, I would accept the motion to approve the minutes submitted by the secretary as of this morning.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Morgan, seconded by moved by Mr. Ring, seconded by Mr. Hagerman. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Sorry, who was the motion?
Aye. Mr. Morgan made the motion, and Mr. Hagerman
Got it.
seconded.
Okay, thank you.
All those opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. The minutes are adopted. Treasurer's report. Or wait, are there any questions for the secretary? Sorry. Or did you have any?
No, the only other thing is, now I was just going through all the submitted delegates, which I will send out receipts for all the ones that I received.
Yeah, you just want to.
Yeah, I haven't, had one compiled.
However you want.
One spreadsheet then?
Yeah.
And is there anything specific you want on it, or just the county and
Just the county.
the names?
The contact info, if it's in there, if it's not. It's
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna go through that this morning. But we
It
kept
then
forgetting to
switched
cover
to lunch.
yeah.
Back to breakfast. Sorry, guys.
Offline.
No, it's fine. That's fine. So look in your email in the next week, county chairs for me to say that I have received your delegate.
And also, we'll have it up on either Zoho or Google, the list of counties that have submitted their delegates, and if your county in your district hasn't submitted, get on them about it.
Yeah, not updated yet, but it will be.
Any questions for the secretary? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Schultheis. Do you need a piece of paper to write it down on?
The guy said something 8 times. to get it right for one.
As of February 17th, yesterday, across all of our accounts, we have a balance of $48,328.43. I have paid the deposit for the catering for the convention. That was $3,500. That has cleared our account, so that has already been accounted for. We do have several other convention expenses that need to be paid in the next several weeks. I'm not aware of exact balances and due dates, so if anyone on the convention committee can give me that information, I can make sure those are paid as soon as possible.
It's up in the air. We're scaling back the Friday night thing. And we're still in talks about that. We may drop the prepaid bowling. But it's in discussion. It's the most expensive part of the entire thing, and it's only 25 people. And it's like $800. And so it actually, you know.
Let's just go
Still same
karaoke at the
space.
bar that we go to every
Well,
weekend.
it'll still be the same space. But it would be not having the bowling provided. If you want to bowl as a group, get your own lane, get your own tickets.
What time do we have the space till?
I have no idea. I think it's till like 10 o'clock, 10 or 11. It's still closing, whatever time Pinheads closes. But so that's out there, but it's cutting in half, essentially.
Okay.
The others, we already have the catering, we already paid the deposit on the venue. So the only things that would be left is the other half of those two things. Pinheads and the 94 Society breakfast, which we don't pay until after, I believe. What did you say the balance was? 48?
$48,328.43.
Did this check from the state? $5,000 check right there?
I haven't seen the blank hold now.
Okay,
Have we submitted that?
yeah, and it's already been approved, so they've at least deposited it.
I do know we have several convention packages that are continuing to
Yes,
come in, so.
we'll talk about that during the convention update. Thank you. And we got the convention sponsor right here. Can you deposit both of those? You like that? Maybe I handed it and I handed it to somebody else.
Oh,
Delegation.
there's a single check.
That's fine, because it's one's for, it's maybe one check, but it's two payments.
Cheesy eggs and bacon.
Yeah, so he's paying, oh, that's me. He's paying for his consultation sponsorship and his.
2x4 over one.
Package into the Sierra.
Yeah.
Any questions for the treasurer?
Our triple fee is still coming back on a regular basis.
Yes. They haven't, but before the convention, Michael will have a system in place.
Okay.
It's recorded, it's just not being paid out.
Right.
But we do know, and National is actually updating even faster now.
That's awesome.
So, because since they're on the same system now, it pretty much happens the next day.
That's fine.
As opposed to a month and a half later. Exercise. Any other questions for the treasurer? Okay, hearing none. Madam Vice Chair, the floor is yours.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for your indulgence so that I can appear by Zoom. I am not feeling driving up there 2.5 hours each way today. I'm actually on day 18 of a 30-day fast, and it's doable, but it's not enjoyable. Everything has been really quiet on the vice chair side, just going back and forth between pinheads, like Evan mentioned, to try and whittle that down. So I'll find out how much it costs if people want to pay for themselves individually if they want a bowl, and see if I can wrangle a discount out of that. but I am definitely in favor of getting rid of that extra $840. And I'm going to yield my time because I don't have anything else exciting to say.
Any questions for the vice chair? Before we move on, I just want to thank both Alyssa and Lucy. Neither one are running for re-election, so this will be their last SCC meeting. So I just want to thank you both for your service to the party over the years, and all your hard work and dedication. So thank you guys. Thank you both.
Okay, I'll go cry now.
What'd you say?
That was heartfelt and warming. I'm going to go cry. I'm a sap.
Okay, on to directors. Communications, Michelle's not here. I do have an idea for a replacement or a new appointment. She's still active. She's just really busy out in California right now. And when she comes back, she wants to come back and help, but maybe it'll be as a person on the communications team as opposed to director. Political, Chris Galt's not here. Paul Copeland is here, but I'm going to take the pressure off him and say, I still have not been to a single one of our scheduled Tuesday night meetings. Sorry, Paul. So it's not his fault if he doesn't have anything to report because he doesn't need direction from me. So sorry about that, Paul.
All right. I'll get you after convention.
We do have.
If he's reelected.
We do have a couple of candidates who are coming to the convention from unaffiliated counties to be nominated. I'm going to ask you, Mr. Copeland, as the assistant, no, as the deputy political director, to work with Mr. Greg Nolan, who will also be there. Greg Nolan will be doing the notary. But we'll have all of the forms ready for people, but also to make sure that their candidate application for the LPIN is complete and signed by two either state or county party officers. Before they come up and be nominated, they need to have that completed. But then helping to make sure that their paperwork is in order and completed and that both me and Alyssa sign it. Cool. Mr. Schultz.
You have an additional treasurer's report, the $5,000 paid to the Indiana Secretary has cleared our account.
Okay, so the 48,000 is
Okay.
after that.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. And it doesn't include any of the money that I've already secured and negotiated, which, by the way, I had bad news about the thing that I told you about, for the voter list. I negotiated a much larger fee and they came back and literally said, hey, can you not deposit that check? We'd actually like to cut back what we asked for. I'm like, it's 12 grand. We got it up from 5,000 to 12 grand per year. And they cut it back in half of what they were asking me. So, any questions for the political team? Any statement you'd like to make, Mr. Copeland? No, that is fine. Okay. Bill Director, Mr. Rigg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have nothing to report that is happening since, so I'll just yield what's left of my time.
Thank you, Mr. Rigg. Tech, Mr. Hagerman.
Yeah, so still working on law data, getting that kept up to date. I was seeing on Facebook where people were complaining that their events weren't on the state page, so I went and looked at them and found out why. So if you ever have problems getting your events to show up in our calendar, just let me know, because it's usually a tag or something that's been left out, and I just copy one. set it up and boom, they showed up. So I've got several of those fixed. Thank you to Christy, Ryan Day, anyone else that may have sent me information from your county conventions, either of you officers or whatever. I even got a new candidate, so I created all that stuff and all that stuff updated. Christy also pointed out that they have a county page, so I had updated it one place, but not very many counties. I think that you might be the other one that has a county page.
Yeah.
So I've got that updated too, but
I'm special
so as far as I know, as of last night, everything is up to date
on the.
on all our sites. And that's the end of my report. Are there any questions?
Mr. Lundy has a question.
I do agree with check the Secretary of State's office was that for the voter.
However, they approve it, and then we have to wait for the state's vendor to reauthorize my credentials, which they said yesterday that they would do next week. All they have to do is change the date of the subscription, but apparently.
And the speed of government.
Yeah. But I'll get an email once it happens, but I imagine it'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday. But yes, it was officially approved.
On that note, just so people know, we do have several candidates who already reached out for the voter data. You can load it up in ATM through the regular circle.
Wow.
I would recommend that no one put forward a motion to extend canvasser. We're only a couple of weeks from the state convention where the budget will be set. And so it needs to happen at that point with the authorization to immediately reauthorize the canvasser should the board want to do that. Any objection to recognizing Ms. Schillings from Hamilton County? Okay, here another Ms. Schillings.
What's the best way to contact you about the next one?
You can send me an email at tech@lpin.org, or you can IM me on Facebook.
In the DM.
Hamilton County events are not on the schedule, and I don't approve.
Okay, yeah, just tell me what they are so I can find them, and then I will.
Hey, Laura, I noticed that sometimes if you go back in the editor, then those tags that are required for it to show up there will pop up. But when you initially create the event, those tags are not showing up.
I love the secret handshake thing.
Yeah, it's stupid.
One more time, that email is tech@lpin.org.
One more thing on the check-in. I highly recommend, whether I'm an officer in a couple weeks or not, that you guys direct the treasurer and the tech team to remove us from Zoho and take us back to Google immediately. We are paying a crap ton of money, and even though we tried all this stuff beforehand and it all worked, none of it has worked since we joined. That's why we're still using Zoom. That's why we're still using Planable. We've never been able to get the social media app that worked great and was wonderful to actually work. We can't use it. And when we talk to them, every application has its own tech department, and you have to call and talk to them. And if it even slightly crosses over into another department, they can't help you. Months of this. I highly recommend that that become the first focus of the tech team immediately after the Sunday convention, is to remove us from that god-awful system. Mr. Schultz.
As an add-on to that, I would recommend that the board see if they can come up with the $800 or so to return us to Intuit QuickBooks. The Zoho Books program that we're currently signed up for also does not work. I'm limping along on a alternate free platform, but if we could return to functionality, we would have greater treasurer reports that we had in the past.
I will pass along your recommendations to the next tech director. whoever.
Any other questions or comments for the tech director? Yeah, hearing none. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, is it possible to get Lori plugged into the fifth district network so that she can start seeing stuff in the fifth district now, since she's been elected starting at the end of conventions? She can go in already ready to go.
Yes. She can't have the email address. That needs to stay with you until the convention. But I can get her, she's already in a CRM for Hamilton County.
Right. You could plug her into the rest of the
Yeah, she can get the
fifth
rest of it.
district. I would appreciate that.
Mr. Hirsch, are you okay with me doing that with Darren Kinzer as well?
I hate them. Oh, I hate them.
Absolutely, I'd be glad to.
And Danny, you already have access to the entire state, so you're good. Okay. No one is here from the LNC, so we'll bypass that unless somebody has questions that maybe I can answer. Seriously?
Do it.
Mr. Schultz?
I know that Indiana was wanting Mr. Hirsch to be our alternate representative. Do we know what the vote was for electing the gentleman from Kentucky?
So I obviously nominated Mr. Hirsch. And I think I spoke positively and eloquently about him. Then Mr. Randall Daniel, who is the state chair of Kentucky, I knew ahead of time that he was also putting his name forward, also spoke very highly of Mr. Hirsch. In his own nominating speech, he spoke highly of Mr. Hirsch and then spoke highly of me and the assistance that I've given him and helped him. But then still continued to put his name forward. Mr. Daniel and Mr. Nana were also at the same time state chair. So neither one of them voted. And Mr. Nana, now being both our region rep and the state chair of Ohio, will be recusing himself from any votes of the state chairs. They have another committee structure in Ohio, and the other chair in Ohio will be voting. So they both recused themselves from that vote. But the vote went 3-1 in favor of Mr. Daniel, which also illustrated to me why Indiana needs to work harder on hitting that 10% number so we can be our own solitary solo region. Because if they all acknowledge that Greg is great, but they don't vote for him, we're the best state in the country, let alone the region. We should have Greg Hirsch as our region rep or region alternate. So I really want to be our own island. In which case, Mr. Hirsch, if we do become a 10% single state alternative, be prepared to not be the alt, but the rep.
Oh, absolutely. Be glad to.
And they did all have very nice things to say about it.
His voice on that board.
They all recognize that Mr. Hirsch has been to every single one of each of the state conventions, that he travels around the country, going to other liberty leaning organizations, to other state parties, that he helps, he donates money to ballot access drives all across the country. I like Mr. Daniel, I like Randall Daniel. I think he'll also be fine. It was just disappointing to see that experience and have people know that experience, but then go a different way. It was bothersome to me. I was a little irked, honestly. But I kept myself in check and I didn't tell them what I really thought about them. But now they'll know because this is live on YouTube.
I'm sure they'll watch it.
Oh, I don't mind that they know. I just didn't want to say it during the meeting. I needed some time to let it cool off. Okay, district reports. Mr. Schick, for District 1.
Okay, here in Porter County, we held our annual convention and reelected all the same officers we'd had in the prior term. In LaPorte County, they continued to have their regular meetings, but did not do an annual convention this year. And Lake County, I just found out, unfortunately, after they had it, that they had an annual convention February 2nd. From what I can tell on Facebook, there were 4 people there. And I assume they reelected, largely the same officers. Unfortunately, I don't have a report on that. I would have attended if I'd known they were having it ahead of time. So that's it for District 1. Any questions?
I talked to Chuck Poland. I have no idea what day it was. It was either Thursday or Friday. And they reelected all the same officers. There was no change.
Yeah.
But do you have a district convention scheduled?
No.
Okay. If you can work with, I think it would be Chuck for Lake County, but work with Chuck to make sure that gets scheduled before the convention, before the state convention, so that they can either reappoint you or elect somebody else to be the district rep.
Okay, I'll get KP and Chuck to weigh in.
Any questions for Mr. Shea? Okay, hearing none. District 2, Ms. Kokolar.
I'm gonna try to skim through this. Elkhart County had their convention February 11th at the Goshen Library, where I was re-elected chair and Will Henry was elected as the treasurer. We had 10 in attendance, so over half were first timers. Jimmy Clifton sought our nomination for Middlebury Town Board. Some of his priorities in seeking office are transparency, professionalism, availability of office to the public, drainage and property issues, and smaller government. Our meeting was recessed until March 18th at 2 p.m. at the Goshen Library. Pasco held their convention on January 26th, where they elected their delegates for the state convention and recessed to March 14th. They don't have any local candidates so far this year. They intend to pay for booths for their third Fridays this year, starting May through October. And they've established trivia night every Thursday night. They're doing that, and their name is Vote Libertarian to get the word out. Plan on tabling Lord of the Hops for the second year on May 6th and Chili Palooza in the fall again. So they've got their calendar planned out for the year. St. Joseph County officers elected, County Chair Tim Cotton, Treasurer Zach O'Hooligan, and his report's rather lengthy. He talks about proposed bill SB4, $200 million health department expansion. He's working with county commissioners, trying to get them to oppose it. Also, the voter registration board was another fight that we were doing in St. Joseph County this last month. We went through the commissioners meeting and spoke during public forum. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to speak until after they voted to keep it a 50-50 split between Republicans and Democrats, but we definitely made our point that, it was a bad decision. And so I think, and then the organizing District 2 convention will be via Zoom on February 20th. That's all I've got.
It's February 20th?
Yes.
You have your own,
It's all set up.
Okay. Okay, any questions for Ms. Kokolar? Okay, hearing none, Ms. Avery for District 3.
In Allen County, Adam Newmeyer was elected to chair and Ethan Gaudette was elected vice chair. Ethan was also nominated to run for city council at large, so we're excited to have it in our county. In DeKalb County, the officers were reelected. No local candidates have stepped forward yet. In Whitley County, Scott Allison stepped up for vice chair and Melanie Love was nominated to run for Columbia City Common Council. District 3 recently held their convention via Zoom and they reelected me, and I think they continued talking for quite some time. I wasn't in there obviously, but so we're looking forward to those district Zooms that you're going to set up eventually.
I'm not sitting, but you're sitting.
I think you have to get everything going. I don't think I can just go in and do it.
Never change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's okay, we want Evan to delegate. You need to learn how to do that.
Hold on a second, I have something for you. Mr. Yurgler is stepping down as chair.
Oh, that's so sad.
They have somebody, Nate, Schrock, who serves on, I think it's the county health board. They have 2 appointed libertarians in Wells County. Remembers, I think it's just him that's stepping down, not his wife.
Have they had a convention?
And what I told him was they they need to hold a convention to elect new officers, that they can't just appoint him. They have to be elected by members, which includes notice. And I said that it would help him do that. And by me, I mean you.
Oh, but I've never spoken to him. Only you have, so.
We're
That's
gonna,
on you.
we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get it done. But just heads up on that.
Okay.
And try being more welcome.
Any questions for
I
District
studied
3?
it for that. That's why I'm not there.
District 4, Mr. Lundy.
I got a hold of Eric Charles from Boone County. We are down to 2 members there. Eric has moved to Marion County, the Hoffmans have moved to English County, Alyssa being one of those members. Eric Charles is currently the plan is he's gonna submit the paperwork to close out the committee with the county clerk. And we'll, school want to do it, talk to Alyssa about a new member, like 6 months ago. We'll see what they want to do, but Hendrick County sets some good goals for 2023. They've got tabling events already booked and scheduled. County convention's done. Delegates and county update form should have been submitted, if not. Montgomery County, their next meeting is February 20th. They're reviewing their current status, setting some goals based on the 6 strategic categories. Work on onboarding their new treasurer, and so a plan to digitize the documents into one language Google Drive, so it's all centralized instead of libraries. Their officer update form, CFA 3, should be submitted by the end of the month. Had no officer team is their convention. It does have a candidate from Warrensville Town Council. Delegates and county update form should have been submitted already. We will be hosting 3 Get Out the Vote events again this year, this time in Warrensville for me. So look forward to those announcements. Putnam County is currently struggling with participation issues. I'm going to work with Dennis to see what we can do to get some of that resolved and try to get them up and running again. And Tippecanoe County had 1 officer change convention. Delegates and county update form should be submitted sometime today or this week. I believe we're running behind on that. They have 2 candidates, Benjamin, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Milanowski has been running for mayor of Lafayette, and Josiah Eller is running for city council. They also have a tax day process scheduled at the new courthouse, April 18th. More information to come, and they are seeking volunteers in the afternoon. So if you'd like to go to a tax day protest, Tippecanoe County is hosting.
What was the officer change? Do you know?
I need to know the right here.
Nice. Good job finding it. Any questions for Mr. Lundy for District 4?
So were the Hendricks County officers maintained?
Believe so, no changes there.
Okay.
District 5, Mr. Nolan.
Morning. Hamilton County and Grant County have had their conventions. Madison County's convention's tomorrow. Howard County's is next week. We've got some action going on. You'll see in the agenda for Delaware County. I'll talk to that under that agenda item. And that's all I have for a report right now.
Okay. I'm going to add on to what Mr. Nolan said, something that we didn't mention, which we should have, and then Mr. Hirsch can say it for him. In the district reps, Christie said she was reappointed, reelected. John Schick has not had his yet. You guys have not had yours yet. District 4, Mr. Danny Lundy was elected, so he'll officially be taking over on the Sunday after the convention. In District 5, Ms. Lori Schillings was elected as the 5th district rep. District 6 has not had one yet, and I will stop there. And I will let the others say that. But now we are at,
Mr. Could I,
any questions for Mr. Nolan?
Mr. Nolan, could I take 30 seconds of your time?
Yes, sir.
Very excited, Grant County Convention. We had 8 members present in our convention with 2 potential members and 3 guests. So massive convention for the size of our county, very exciting. We have a local candidate running, Clayton Stoltz, for Jonesboro.
Has anybody vetted this guy though?
On purpose.
Okay. Any other questions or comments about 5th district, Mr. Nolan? Okay, any objection to recognizing Ms. Schillings? Hearing none, Ms. Schillings.
Greg, can you tell us again when Madison Township's meeting is in the location?
I think I mentioned at the last meeting, it's tomorrow at 5:30 at Arts Pizza on Broadway in Anderson.
I'll let you, Greg already knows this, but I'll let you know too. I was requested by the 2 people who were the only 2 planning on attending today for the Hancock.
Yeah.
They had a family emergency and had to leave town, not here this weekend. Howard, yeah, not Hancock, sorry, Howard County. So
I was wondering.
I know it's a bunch of H's. So we rescheduled it for next Saturday. And that will be on Zoom, and I think it's 11 o'clock, 11 a.m.
Be sure.
No, that's not right. What time did we schedule that, Greg?
I don't remember. You just said it was moved to this week.
It was Sunday at 2 o'clock. That's what it was, Sunday at 2. Yes, absolutely. It hadn't gone out yet, so we had talked about it over the phone.
You'll make sure Lori's invited to that also?
Yes, that's what she just asked.
Thank you.
Any other things for the 5th district? Okay, hearing none. Luke Lomax for District 6 is not here. He has not come on. Mr. Hagerman, has Luke shown up online? No, okay. So we will skip that. Mr. Williams is also not here. I will mention that Abdul Hakim Shabazz, our good friend from WIBC and IndyPolitics.org, was pestering me about, were we going to have somebody running for mayor of Indianapolis? I'm getting ready to announce, I'm getting ready to file my paperwork. Are you guys going to have a candidate? And I just didn't answer. And I finally answered and said, it's not up to the state, it's up to the county party. But I'm going to be severely pissed if they don't run somebody against you. Because
If he gets past the primary.
from what I'm hearing, he probably will. I actually had a friend of mine who is a hardcore Democrat that I have only convinced them to vote for one Libertarian, and it was specifically because this person owns a vape shop, and the Libertarian supported the vape shop while the Democrat in his district did not. He was actually at my house the other day and said, "Hey, did you hear about Abdul?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "It sucks he's running as a Republican. If he had run as a Libertarian, I actually would have voted for him. But he can't give his vote to the Trumpian Republican Party." Talked about that. Why would you, this guy who's only ever not voted Democrat on one ballot line in his entire life, and he's in his 50s, why would you not vote? And he said, because said is garbage. And there's a big movement of Democrats who are really pissed off at that. So I feel like we really need to have a candidate in Marion County. So if anybody here has friends that are in the party in Marion County, please put a little pressure on them to get with the county party to get nominated for mayor, because we can't just let Abdul have all the fun. And by the way, Abdul understands and expects us to run somebody. He's not expecting us not to. He gets it. He will not be mad at us when we get better numbers than he does in
Let's,
Marion.
let's put Chris Spangle up against him.
I'd actually love to get Chris Mayo to run again.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran for the 7th district congressional seat, but he did really well. You don't remember Chris?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
remember. He was
So
great.
is he still in
But
Marion
he's
County?
not in Marion County.
Yes, no, did he move?
Yeah, he's a
He's like out, yeah, he's out in the wilderness.
Tell him to move back.
Yeah, you're still fine. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yes.
Okay. All right,
He just lives a couple.
so
blocks
that's
from here.
it for that. I imagine Kent Williams will also probably get reappointed as a seventh district rep. Although he's not,
He is not seeking reelection.
I didn't ask if he was seeking it.
I don't think you will take it if he's reelected.
Yeah,
Sure,
you
yeah.
all right. Fire.
I know that.
That actually would be good. And past his 2 years of, I need 2 years.
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
true.
He has to wear the kilt,
Yeah.
deal.
All right, she did better than him when they ran for school board, so, we're not school board, city.
Would be better.
Should do it either.
District 8, Adrian, do you have anything for District 8?
Well, I can add a couple things I've heard. I don't know his name yet, but I know there is someone running for mayor in Evansville. Which is a big deal.
Brent McDonald.
Ooh, Brett
Brett-
McDonald.
So that's a big deal. Brent's a good guy. I was just blanking on his name. Sorry, I've been sick all week. I feel like Evan's story from earlier today. I know in Du Bois County, we reelected all of our officers. We have one candidate running for office citywide in Jasper, and that's me. So I'm gonna have a busy summer. We do have 2 other libertarians thinking about running for office in Du Bois County, so that's exciting. Jasper's becoming the Chicago equivalent of let's spend lots of money in Indiana. So it's becoming a big fight down in southern Indiana of how much money and how much extra taxation will the area absorb. I've heard, did something happen in Knox County, Evan?
Yes.
Okay,
His
I
question.
don't know the details, so I'll just
I
leave
know.
it there.
Yeah, I don't know if the party shut down or not.
Okay.
I'm trying to get people, I had contacted a few people about taking over the officer positions because Shane had told me that he was shutting down the party. Actually, the way I found out about it was at the election administrators conference with all the county clerks. The county clerk for Fox County stood up and asked, well, what do I do if the county chair has told me that he's dissolving the party here? And then everybody looked at me, and I was like, that's not happening. We'll fix it. And then I talked to Shane and I said, don't do that. Give us some time to find new officers. And apparently, right before Christmas, even though I talked to him, just, date, he notified the clerk he was dissolving the county. But we can't get any paperwork on it. So I'm not sure that it happened. And if it did happen, did it happen appropriately? Or can I just call a special convention as the state chair to elect new officers? But if you, Mr. Engelberth, am I saying that right? Engelberth?
Yeah, it's Engelbert.
Okay, cool. Mr. Engelberth, if you can communicate with the county clerk and find out for sure and get a copy of that paperwork, that will help me or the next state chair, should there be one, in deciding how to move forward with Knox County.
Okay.
That is it.
Outside of that, I was told about Orange County having a convention to affiliate, and it's even on the agenda. I know that they're part of the 8th District congressional 8th District. Looking forward to finding out if they're officially going to be part of the 8th District that I oversee. So outside of that, that's all I have.
I thought Orange County was in the 8th district.
Counties can't opt out. It's not like states.
No,
Yeah, I thought so.
but if a county is split between
Oh,
multiple
right.
congressional districts, it may not be in the one that when you're looking at the official congressional map, you may look at it and see most of the county physically is in one district,
But it's by
but it's based on the population. So if it goes, it could be in a completely different one.
Gotcha.
That's what happened with, Kosciuszko there for a little while, and then Christie lost them. Any other questions for Mr. Engelberg? Hold on one second. Is it about Orange County? Well, it's on the agenda. Wait until we get to that. Any other questions about the 8th district? Hearing none. 9th district, Mr. Hirsch.
Okay, Monroe County had their county convention on Monday, January 23rd. I wasn't able to attend that one, unfortunately. Clark County, we had our convention on Thursday, February 2nd. It's likely myself and Russell will run for Clarksville Town Council. We're not decided for sure yet. But also, as far as officers go, Russell is re-elected as county chair, but Kelly Kern is now the vice chair, and new member Matt Duncan is now the secretary. And I'm still the treasurer of Clark County. Jefferson County and Madison, Indiana, had their convention on Monday, February 6th. They have the same officers. Then day before, February 5th, Darren Kinzer led the meeting of the 9th District County Chairs, and they selected Darren Kinzer as the new 9th District rep. One thing that Darren would like to do during the next year is have another District 9 meeting with everyone, which I've done before at the Salt Creek, at the Salt Creek Lodge, the golf course in Nashville. We'd like to do that again there. One of his plans. That's about everything I have.
Okay. Is it about Orange County?
Yeah.
Okay. Any objection to recognizing Ms. Hudson? Hearing none, Ms. Hudson.
Okay. Aaron Kinzer had a death in the family. He spent the last 2 days in the funeral. So that's why he's not present today. He would be related. He had to take his today with us. He related to this.
Please pass along our condolences on behalf of the party to Mr. Kinzer and his family. I did not expect to see him here today because you had told me that last night. So I did not expect to see him here today. Even though I normally would have expected to see him here, his absence is completely understandable. Did you have something to add, Mr. Higgins?
I had a question. So when does Darren's term start?
All district rep positions start Sunday after the convention.
Sunday.
But with Mr. Kinzer and with Ms. Schillings, we are going to go ahead and add them into the CRM as also the district rep. So there'll be 2 district reps listed. So if you want to go ahead and.
So they'll both be out.
Yes.
Okay.
So and then we'll turn off
Yeah.
Mr. Hirsch and Mr. Nolan on Sunday morning. I'd like to just take a minute off the schedule here to thank the Gregs, both of them, Mr. Greg Nolan and Mr. Greg Hirsch, for their years of service and dedication to the Libertarian Party, to this board, their counties and the county officers within their district. So thank you both for all of your hard work and.
You're here.
Thank you. And of course, like I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be around. Won't get rid of me.
You're not going anywhere.
I will say that I did specifically ask Mr. Nolan to continue serving on the bylaws committee, which that committee does not have a designated number of seats. It's up to us how many are sat on it, but I asked him to continue serving on it, and he said, I guess so. And then I asked him to continue to be an advisor or a member of the convention advisory group, because we're not calling it a committee anymore. An advisory group. So thank you for that. And I expect Mr. Hirsch to serve on a couple of committees and advisory groups as well. Okay, this is the time for the 10-minute break. So unless there is any objection, we will stand in recess until 12:01. And remember, we are still live on YouTube.
Yes.
Who you guys?
I know, I'm by this time, it's like, and 3 hours in the car, you know, down.
So I heard do the newly elected officers, are they the new officers on the Sunday or? Because Lori's understanding was the last SCC meeting, like that,
As soon as the meeting adjourns,
yeah.
but it's not, it's the next day.
The officers actually take, as soon as the gavel is on the convention.
Yeah.
The officers take the position.
So it'll be like a
District
block.
reps,
Oh.
district reps are, until the, next SCC meeting is gaveled in.
It's
Oh.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why is
That
it
was confused.
different?
I thought you said that they retained their work.
Can the next bylaw,
I'm sorry?
I was confused. I thought you said they retained their work possession until after that.
no,
Sunday after.
No.
Their duties terminate at convention.
The district reps,
Yes.
technically, hyper technically, immediately when the state chair calls the SCC meeting into order is officially the transition
On Sunday.
on Sunday.
I thought it was after that. but-
No, it's at that.
so Lori will be the District 5 rep.
Yes. However, Michael will be setting everything up the night before.
Yeah.
That way, everybody's emails are transferred out. So you start Sunday morning. You're the district.
It feels like this is the next bylaws committee, but just that.
You have to do that. Oh, wait. Oh, you go into yourself.
Yeah, because otherwise.
No, you can go in the renewal of membership and it's renewed by credit card, and then just enter in the credit card information.
Yeah, I can also you have to create a candidate.
It'll renew immediately.
Yeah.
Things about.
I did, we.
Chris, I don't want to do it.
It's your entire computer screen. I'm just, I don't actually want to. Anytime you saw it, you know. But, they didn't know until. Oh, right.
Like, you just got this.
Because you sent that to us, and he's a couple weeks before.
No, I think that was- we got.
Right.
Well, part of it is, I know it was way in the advance of the convention, that's. So I know we got it way. They got it. They got it. But.
Gotta go get me some cups for
Like, you know.
What's- Someone who, I'm not gonna complain, I wouldn't invite support for that.
I-
Yeah, sure.
When in Fort Wayne, it's seven. It's still, no, well, once field base. Where you can add 3 times the day, field, you copy the same skin. It's the same. If it's not, then.
Somehow we thought that.
But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so job is. They go from about a 10-hour days. On a day where I'm busy and pushing myself.
If we can, that's pretty much half the time. Yeah.
Well, we high level one, so there's
Yeah. Should see what our property taxes jump to.
These were the posts that we were told. we made. I couldn't
Our
find
property
anything.
taxes and house insurance are more than our.
And he was. For
Names.
That's facts.
Where you live?
Our house is
There's about,
Okay.
My county treasurer can never figure out how much I'm supposed to owe for property taxes. So like, it feels like I'm paying last year's taxes every year. Like, it's always, something's always adjusted or not caught up.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
That's fun news, Hamilton County, Westfield and Hamilton County. My permitted use, various, 16 various, yeah, true. That was fun.
But I told. 5 degrees colder. He didn't want to command the house. Until some of the consequences.
You're in Marion County, right?
Yes. I didn't.
Were you an officer?
Yes, secretary. Oh, video. But you want.
Who do you guys have someone to run for? Any, you think?
We have one person interested in running for the city council position. We had one person pop up and then decided to run into for council. Which he's doing that just because he feels he has a chance. But it's still a good place.
Yeah.
Because we'll still count it.
Yeah. Yeah, we count Justin Amash and he's switched.
By hook or by crook.
Yes.
You could.
But as far as mayor, like, I just started a new job. Rico is considering running for something not mayor. It's just, nobody wants to step up to something like that.
Well, Dustin Anna just showed up here at the Kentucky Convention.
I'm trying to raise money for St. Jude.
Well, I think it's Spangled right now.
Random cat showed up.
Because
I don't have a
they're-
1 minute warning.
they're friends. Like,
But
It's like one of those Spanish responses.
Now I can't trigger it.
So he's like doing meetings.
The other cats, and I was petting my other cat, and it just reached over to her.
We are back in order.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the 2023 elections. Really, the thing that I want to stress about this is please have the candidates filling out, anybody who's been nominated within your county or counties for the district reps, please have them fill out the candidate information form so that Chuck and Paul can get them entered into the website and get them up on our candidates page as soon as possible. If you are a district rep from a county or have a county that is unaffiliated, please make sure to use the proper candidate nomination form again on our website. With that form, it's a vetting form. They must print that off once they have submitted it, bring it to the convention, and have 2 officers from the county or state party sign their form. So they need to go and find somebody, and that is a verification and vouching. If you don't know this person or feel comfortable signing their form, don't sign it, because when they do something incredibly stupid, the state chair, whoever that may be, is going to come after you for signing their form. Excluding the one that I talked to you about, Christian. I get a pass on that one.
So
Correct. I noticed that too, and the form has been submitted a few times. It should be going to you, Chuck, when it's submitted.
What, the Google one?
The candidate information one, yeah, should
Yeah.
be going to political and you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and, Chuck, Chris Galt is absent, so go ahead and add their candidate.
I haven't been notified if there's any news down there. Follow up.
Okay,
I think it's.
Mr. Slade.
Is it,
Oh, it might actually be. I think he did appear on there last year. So check it. Check his candidate profile, make sure that the date down at the bottom is correct and that it didn't get deactivated.
Okay.
Mr. Slice.
are we talking about the candidate sign up link on the LPIN website?
That is the one for the unaffiliated counties.
Okay, so for affiliated counties, it is,
I have no idea. It is a Google form. It's not.
If you need to just email me. a
Chuck,
text.
can
Yeah.
you send it out to all the districts? Yeah. send it
Yeah,
out.
I'll send it to the SCC.
Thank you.
All the region reps will have it.
thank you.
Also make sure if you have an active candidate who's actually going to put in the work, make sure they get connected to the data team through Chuck. So that we can be giving them the proper information to go door to door, send out letters, anything that we can do to help them. But it's best to go through the data team and the political director. Whoever that should be. Either one of them. Any questions about that? Any questions about the 2023 election?
I just mentioned, Chuck, when you send out that email, we're also going to include the data request form. So if you want walking data and cancer training and all that, make sure you fill out that form.
Yep.
You want the CAN 22 stamped of any candidates sent to the state as well.
Yes. Did everybody hear that?
No.
We would like the CAN 22s, the file stamped version, the one that's stamped by the county clerk. We'd like a copy of that for the state party to go in the secretary's records.
You want to email to secretary?
Yes. You can CC me on it, or you can CC the chair on
If
it.
we already sent them to you.
You're fine. It's already in the folder. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, membership report, can I have a post-it note back?
I thought that was a gift.
I figured that's how you were gonna give me your treasurer's report, so.
No,
It's 535 LPIN members, alright, so it's pretty much right the same.
We have a Congress.
Oh, yeah, it's 534.
Is it 535 for Congress?
The whole.
Five thirty-five for Congress,
Yes.
435 on the House and 100 on the.
Yeah.
So close. But yeah, so we have 534 active members. There have been a few unexpected lapses, just because their credit cards expired when they did the relapse. And that's the notification for that is still not working. That is one of the things that I'm working with the CTO to fix. The email notification to let the member know is still not working, but we're working on it. There's a point of notice, district reps, you and your county chairs can log in, and by hitting on the main dashboard, when you first log in, there's a line of blue boxes in the middle of the screen. One of them is members. If you click on it, you will only see the members for your district or your county. You can look at lapse, and you can even set it for show me lapse within the last week. And you can see them. And you can feel free to contact any lapsed members in your county or district to remind them that their membership has lapsed. Just an FYI. Any questions about the, I do not have the BSM numbers from national. We have not gotten that report in a couple of months. I know that the number that I have in city does not match the number that national ever has. Our number is actually 10 to 20 members more than what national's reflection. So I don't know when we're going to start getting those monthly reports from national, but they kind of start for now. Mr. Schultz.
Is there any benefit for additional members at this time other than financial, or is it our normal time of having people sign up prior to the national convention is more beneficial?
So we have, so the period, and we'll probably be doing that push. I would assume the next SCC an executive team will do that push starting the middle of August. It's October 31st becomes the cutoff for what our position is at national. Right now, as far as I know, we are still in 8th place nationally. But whatever our number is as of 12 a.m. or 11:59 a.m. October 31st, 2023 determines our position at the 24th National Convention. We have the requirement that to be elected a delegate to national, you must be both a state and national party member. And it's at the time you are elected as a delegate. So even if your membership expires nationally after that, I don't think it matters, as long as you have to be a state member all the way up until we're at the convention. But just to be selected as a delegate, your membership with national has to be current that day. That makes sense? But given that, our next convention will probably be the first weekend of March again. That being so, if somebody joined the triple membership program now, they would carry through all of any of the potential deadlines.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Copeland.
Just for information, if our goal is to hit 10%, what would that number?
We need to double. We need another, oh wait, no. We need another 700 national members, I believe. That's where I think it's at.
How many of our state members are on national?
Last time I remember running that, it was about half.
So we could do quite a few groups.
Yes. Yeah,
We want to close that.
yes. Go for it. Any other questions? Okay, legal updates. There are no legal updates. So 0 minutes. No matter what happens at this convention, I will stick around for the SCC meeting to give a legal update, which would be a legal recap for the new board. So no matter what happens, I will stay and do that. Also, Lucy may not know it yet, but she will be staying as well and coming to that meeting to give a convention estimate update. Thank you, Lucy.
She's still there.
I don't know. Any questions about the legal update? Okay, good, because there were 0 minutes attached. 2023 convention. As of right now, officially with that check, the sponsor and that ticket, we are about halfway where we need to be to break even. Now, that actually kept me up Monday night. I couldn't sleep. I've had like severe anxiety attack and almost a panic attack. And I got up and went to my computer and looked up information and discovered that we are actually ahead of schedule. We're normally more than 50% behind that far out. So we still have, as of today, we have 2 weeks to go before the convention. And over 50% of the packages and booths and things like that are sold in the last 2 weeks. That being said, if you have not gotten your convention package, please do so now. Thank you. Mr. Schultes.
Is there a cutoff for when you can register for attending the dinner?
Yes and no. The short answer is I already had to turn in the hard number yesterday. The fun number is that they always bake in 10 to 15 more. So I have a playroom of 10 to 15 more. I have to notify them that we're going to take that 10 to 15 buffer. If you wait too long, there's a good chance that I will have to tell you your SOL. If you don't know what that abbreviation means, let me know and I'll tell you. We're
You're
not
the
all
last
live.
person in line to
Yeah.
just make sure everybody else who was timely gets
Yep.
their food first.
Yep. Maybe you get to eat, maybe you don't.
I've already paid
You
for
I saw
myself.
yours and Chrissy too.
No,
Yes,
no.
pretty sure I saw her register
Well,
for the dinner,
It doesn't matter.
but we'll take the money again. Miss Avery,
Did we sell all the rooms that we needed to sell?
I actually have no idea. I did not get a booking confirmation from them.
Wow.
So I never, normally they give you a link. By the way, for the next SCC, whoever it shall be, I strongly encourage not having any agreement with the Hilton. I do not think moving forward, there should be a room block period. It may suck a little, but I think moving forward, our best bet would probably be to just have links for the hotels. There's like 4 or 5 hotels that are within walking distance of the forum. We should just put their booking information up and it's up to the members to find whatever hotel they want. Because as of right now, and I did call a couple of places, Danny, they are not doing things on the weekend. So they'll give us a room block, but we get absolutely no benefit other than maybe a $30 a night discount on the hotel room. And honestly, it's not worth it to put thousands of dollars at risk for the party. And here I am, I have no idea if we made the room block or not.
I think we did because Cassie, when she tried to get a room, she said she had to get a king size bed. I don't know.
That's all they offered,
Oh.
were the kings. That was it. It was the king studio and the King
No,
something else?
No, I think, I didn't book my own room, but I think we got 2 queens.
Oh, okay, well,
I was told we had a King Studio.
uh,
I didn't.
But I think the purpose
Ms.
of
Hudson.
the room block those two.
go ahead, Danny. You get speaking, you get the right to
Oh,
speak
well, I
first.
was just gonna say, I think the purpose of having the room block was to use it at another room in the hotel.
Mhm.
Or like the meeting or the 1994 Sunday breakfast, since we're not doing that, the room block serves no purpose.
I agree. But this was, we got roped into this and the original agreement was we paid $500 for the room that we held our SCC meeting in. And we had a courtesy room block of like 20 room nights that there was no attrition. If we filled them, we filled them. If we didn't, we didn't. Last year, they added, they gave us the room, which by the way, we could not use that video. The audio of it was stripped out because they could not turn off the overhead speaker in the room that was playing licensed music. Wow. And they made us guarantee 30 room nights with an 80% attrition. So we had to fill at least 80% of the room. This year they came back and said it's 40 room nights, 80% attrition. And by the way, you can't use the room because we don't have weekend events anymore. Because they don't have the staff. I was like, we don't need a staff. We don't need anybody. Just open the door. We don't need anything. Like we can't do it.
You can clean it on Monday.
Yeah. But last year we also charged it this, it was $1,000 plus the room block for that room. And I don't think that it was worth $1,000 plus the room block guarantee, but we did meet the guarantee. So we didn't end up paying them anything other than $1,000, but that's a lot for that tiny ass room for the day.
Yeah.
But I think moving forward, if I don't want to make the assumption that the Capri Italian restaurant will let us use their space again next year, but this year, that when Lucy talked to them, they were very cool and said, listen, when your breakfast is done, we'll move you into the other room and you can have your business meeting there, take as much time as you need. And so, and if you know, that's why I did one of the reasons why I did the Sunday agenda was so that we would have a good idea of the time. When I originally did it, it was 6 hours, and I thought, that's a bit long, not for you, but for the restaurant. So now it's 3.5.
Thank you.
Thank you, restaurant.
Thank you, Capri.
But I highly recommend, if they were willing to do it, to do that again. That also means that you don't have to travel back and forth as a board. You're right there where you need to be. Because I assume every board member and director and officer is a 1994 society member.
Yes, Devin.
Because if they're not, they're going to be, right? Okay. Ms. Hudson, you were next.
Oh, I was gonna follow up, when you were talking about the rumors, because you were saying you could only get a king. One of our members, when he booked a room, said he was booked in the 2 queens, and he was joking, he goes, I'm by myself and I got 2 beds, you know, so I don't know why it's going one way or the other.
When I was single and traveling the country, I always used to get 2 queens. And double beds too.
Yeah, that's
Mr. Lundy. Did you have-
Do we have?
Oh, was there-
That's where we were going.
Do we have the 2023 convention program yet that we have on our website would be available February 1st?
No. Can you change that date? Actually to next weekend.
Next weekend?
Yeah, next Saturday.
Okay, I'll change it.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments about the convention? Ms. Schillings?
I was just gonna say, I can help you with that convention.
It's basically done. And there's a couple people that I'm waiting to get their ads from, and then it's done. Actually, but you will be helping with it because it will be one of your days that you come by to do in-house stuff. You and Kristen will be coordinating, coming together. You, Kristen, and Barry will be sitting down to fold and staple all the brochures.
Great.
It's fun. It's a fun time. Everybody enjoys it. Yes.
Were you going to announce
No. It will go up on the website as soon as I get that information.
First lady,
I don't know, is that the one we're talking about?
I think we all know.
Someone we're all Facebook friends with.
The one who ran for office last year?
Did he put it up on Facebook?
Yeah, yeah.
Immediately.
Good for him.
Yeah.
James.
He was excited.
Famous.
I also, just for a second of indulgence, Ms. Schillings, being a college student, has to do a spring practicum. Which means she has to come and work for a not volunteer, but do work for a nonprofit organization. And somehow she conned her professor into doing it for the state party. So Lori will be putting in some time, mostly working remote to handle some of the membership communications and external communications. But she'll also be coming by the office, my dining room table, to work probably directly with Kristen Alexander to send out membership kits and things like that. She'll also have one large policy project that she'll be working on, which we have yet to decide what will be. So if you have any ideas, please let Lori know. And then we'll decide together that they probably all suck and she'll do what I tell her to do. But no, please do let her know. And thank you, Lori, for thinking of the party when doing this practicum for college. It's awesome.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Full time for the state.
And it's like 80 some odd hours.
84 hours before April.
Yeah,
End of April.
Nice.
and it'll be much more.
We're so productive. Okay, so what's done? I'm excited about the party for the next few months.
New business, having the next item on the agenda is the Orange County affiliation request. I did receive all of the required paperwork. They held their convention last weekend. I want to say February 5th. I feel like that was right.
11th was Saturday.
I can't remember when it was, but they held it. No, yeah, it was the 11th. It was the 11th.
The 11th.
On the 11th, they held it. Tanya Hudson was there. You've got to be impressed that I got it wrong once, the change wrong once, but since then I've been doing perfect with it.
Easier.
It's not.
It's
It's not. I took it a clap inside my head.
He
Can
said
you
you
hear
were
me?
trying to come every time.
But so she was there and has been working with them to get through their affiliation process so that she can help focus her attention on getting other counties affiliated and getting through that process. But I have received all of their paperwork, including when I had to go to the election division to file for the voter list. I brought it up because I hadn't seen a response from them yet on their CFA 1, or excuse me, CFA 3. And she said, yeah, I got it. I've just been busy. And I said, well, hey, if you could take care of that soon, because our board meeting, our last one before the state convention is this Saturday. And if I don't have it in hand by that Saturday, they're not considered a county affiliate for the state. And so she got it done before I got home. So she turned around and got it sent to them. And normally she would just tell them it's done and they have to go and find it themselves, but she actually attached it so that they would immediately have it. And she CC'd me on it. So all of their paperwork is in order, but we've received everything from them. So I would entertain a motion from somebody to officially affiliate Orange County.
So moved.
Hold on, okay, so was there a second?
Second.
Can I get somebody else to second?
Second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Mr. Rigg and seconded by Ms. Kokolar. You two have made and seconded every emotion in this meeting. I'd like to have some diversity in the minutes.
No, you guys just comply.
I'd like to open it up for discussion before we go to a vote. Are there any questions about the Orange County affiliation request?
I'll just have questions about the officers that is approved.
Any questions from Zoom on the Orange County affiliation request? Or any comments? Okay, hearing none. Is there an objection to doing this by voice vote? Okay, hearing no objection. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Okay, the motion passes. Congratulations, Orange County. A lot. Ms. Hudson, can you sit with Mr. Hagerman for a minute and give him the names of the two officers there? They are in the CRM because they're both active members. So then you know it, and then if you could change everything on the website to being affiliated. Thank you, sir. All right, congratulations, Orange County. We already did the 8th district vacancy. Delaware 10th chair. I'm going to recognize Mr. Nolan. Mr. Nolan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to place a nomination Corey Jensen as temporary chair for Delaware County. I owe this contact to Clayton Schultz. We met this man. We met this man at the Jonesboro festival road rally. That's it. And we've kept in contact with him. I had a long conversation with him the other day, and he's an electrician, a union electrician, he likes to say proudly. He's been a member since the end of last month. The long conversation ended up that we had a lot in common, both in our political views and in our personal life. His wife is a medical technologist and my wife was a medical technologist. So we bonded on a number of levels. I shared with him that I was bowing out as 5th district and that he would be working with Lori and Evan, probably, hopefully, the state chair, to get him up and going as to the punch list of things that he needs to do to bring the county into affiliation. We've got in the same county, we've got a man by the name of Steve Smith who's wanting to run for city council at large. So we've got a little seed growing in Delaware County right now. So to reiterate, I'd like to place in nomination Corey Jensen for temporary chair, Delaware County.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there another second?
Second.
Second, the motion made by Mr. Rowland. The second was Ms. Avery. I'll recognize Ms. Avery second. You know, the Republicans actually require that any motion made, an opposite sex must be the second.
Oh my gosh.
They also require every seat to have a opposite sex. So like there's the Bain chair of the Republican Party. There is a co-chair who must be the opposite sex. Wow.
You know, I think I've heard
I
that.
thought the Democrats were woke.
Right, yeah.
And apparently it's in the Republican state party as well. They have a lot of the same.
They also charge they also charge $35 for membership.
Yep,
We should push for homosexual rights in the Republican Party.
we tried that. We really did. They didn't go for it. Let's see. Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, here, do you have
I don't have the name again. So
Corey Jensen,
Corey.
CORY JENSEN. Right, because I knew ahead of time.
Is he from Muncie, Greg?
No, he's from Eden.
Okay,
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, let's just do a voice vote. All those in favor of appointing Corey Jensen, the temporary chair of Delaware County, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Hearing none, the motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Corey Jensen. Lori, Greg, if you two can work together in contacting and talking to Corey as well, if you can go ahead and loop in Tanya, Ms. Hudson, because she's going to be presumably heading up county affiliation work. Okay. Before we get to announcements, I'd like to take a minute to recognize Mr. Will Henry would like to talk to us about an issue coming before the state legislature. Are you prepared, Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Okay, the floor is yours for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Can you come closer so that online can hear you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
A couple bills have been cause for concern moving through the State House. These two bills are House Bill 1076 and Senate Bill 279. These bills, corresponding bills, look to basically, in layman's terms, to remove that due process away from the service member on the state side and waive that UCMJ availability for them to have a jury of their peers decide the action. They want to waive that because there's apparently in a backlog here in the state that the governor can't get to a lot of these. And they want to waive that for the governor to allow the adjutant general who's appointed by the governor to waive that due process to let the command decide what happens to the individuals individually. And that could, it would whittle down, in a sense, the backlog. But then it could turn toxic in command, allowing these things to, a toxic command environment. And that's really what it comes down to is it may, solve the issue right now, but it's not the right way, because later on down the road, it could present a lot of problems. Here in the state, there are some other states that have initiated this stuff, but it really takes away that due process available to that individual in service uniform. The due process is already limited anyway, and now the state is looking to reduce that even further as a service member on active duty in the state. So I would ask that, at least the director get with the Veterans Committee, get with these other veterans groups on your time and be able to work through this and give some sort of non-biased stance on this from a libertarian perspective to protect those rights of those individuals.
What's the number of the bills again?
It's House Bill 1076, and Senate Bill 279. And their corresponding bills, I believe they've made it through or making it through committees right now and getting ready to swap houses. So a lot of the concern, a lot of the people supporting this are already on orders of the state. They're working for the state. So this could benefit them in some of those stances, but it wouldn't benefit those service members who this would really ultimately affect. This is a top-down command type of decision, and a lot of military members could be affected in this.
To play devil's advocate, because I am familiar with the bills, the other side, those that are in favor of the bill or supporting the bills, have pointed out that this authority is only for low-level infractions, because as of right now, any infraction at all has this process of court-martial. That this is only for low-level offenses, and even if they're decided against by their commanding officer, there's an automatic appeals process that remains. The biggest issue in why this bill is coming forward and why I think it needs to be addressed more is that the governor calls the court martials. And so far, the last governor to call a court martial, I believe, according to the record, was Mitch Daniels. There hasn't been one since, but yet there is a list of pending disciplinary actions that need to be adjudicated
From that time.
since then. Yeah. And you're literally talking about hundreds, if not thousands, because every single thing requires a court martial. And there hasn't been. No court martial has been called by the governor. And it does speak to, should this be something that is handled by the governor, or should it be something that is handled internally by the military? Maybe the governor should retain the authority in the absence of action by the judge advocate, that like if there's a serious thing and they're not taking it seriously, like maybe an instance years ago, there were a lot of instances of rape on base that were not being prosecuted by the judge advocate general. Maybe the governor can call the court martial at that point because there is an action being taken. But otherwise, maybe the authority in normal course should rest with the judge advocate. Right now, they don't have it, period. So I think this idea of they're wanting to make it so that the judge advocate through the command structure is able to move things along, but it does sound like they're doing it in kind of a bad way that retains the governor retains all of the authority. So it's a curious thing. What I had said to Mr. Henry was, I asked him to look at this from a libertarian standpoint, and as a libertarian and a veteran, to write up a position paper on it. And if I agreed with it, that I would release it within the name of the LPIN. So just letting you guys know that that's how I want to work forward.
Time by 3 minutes.
Well, any objection to extending the time by 5 minutes, because we're already ahead of schedule. Hearing no objection, go ahead, Mr. Henry.
And also on another point, Indiana Military Veterans Legislative Day took place Tuesday, January 10th. It was a great success. I had a lot of interaction with a lot of folks there. Indiana Normal was there, also Hoosier Veterans for Medical Cannabis. Both have been proactive at that event since the start, basically. And Keith Johnson, who I introduced to some folks last year, went through the hyperbaric oxygen therapy treatment. And it was significantly affected positively through this experience. I'm on a board meeting right now with Indiana Normal. Just took a break from it, but he's on the board now. He's so active with legalized here in the state. He's the only person in the state with a Schedule I license signed by the Governor Holcomb. So to see him come through that and to have that positive experience and to be able to share that with folks is absolutely. I just wanted to share that with folks today. The Indiana Military Veterans Legislative Day was a very good success.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Henry? Okay. Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Henry. Any announcements that weren't already made? Ms. Avery.
Next Saturday, the Libertarian Party of Allen County is sponsoring without endorsement something called Chewing the Facts, the Last Plane Out of Kabul. Untangling the political and monetary motivations of long wars such as Afghanistan and Iraq, told by eyewitness Tim Howie, a military contractor, of his time over there following the attacks on 9/11 until his exit on one of the last planes out of the Kabul airport. And let me tell you, this gentleman can talk. But it's very interesting.
Very cool.
It's on Saturday between 4 and 8 at McAllister's on Lima Road. If you need information, just let me know and I'll pass it on to you.
Any other announcements?
If I could make a quick announcement.
Sure.
You showed up at our convention.
Greg, your video's on. I just wanted to say that over the last 30 minutes.
Yes, indeed. Our regional rep is here. This is Dustin Nana.
Hold on, Mr. Egg, Mr. Birch, Mr. Go ahead.
We held our district convention and I've been approved by all county chairs to continue as District 1 rep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shea. Go ahead, Mr. Hirsch.
What was that, Evan?
We didn't hear anything you said before. You were talking over John Shea. So what did you say?
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, Dustin Ann is here at this convention. I just let everybody know.
Oh, well,
Right, here he is.
if he's there, I expect him to be at the Indiana convention. So
Okay.
he can get his ticket online. He missed the early bird.
One convention talking to a guy, why do you come here? It's the only time I can eat a steak, have a bourbon, and smoke a cigar without my wife yelling at me.
I didn't hear whatever his excuse was, but you better hear.
I agree with Liz. Can we get our LNC update?
Yeah, can we get an LNC update from Mr. Nana?
Dustin, do you have an LNC update for the?
An LNC update?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, there's people trying to take pictures of me, all kinds of stuff.
You're on camera right now. You're good.
So, really the only LNC update I have is that, I guess now we're having issues with a speaker at the event.
Right, speaking of getting yelled at.
Wanted to pull out, they sent us a cease and desist. We've been in the process of removing that person's information from the speaker page, so hopefully that'll be resolved by the end of the weekend. Other than that, there's really not a ton going on the LNC that's not EPCC related, which is obviously confidential. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in a couple of weeks, and I'll write out a written report for you guys. It'll help me out, give you a more full update.
Okay, get everybody hear that?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nana. Thank you, Mr. Hirsch.
All right.
That's me. I'm coffee. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You, Greg.
Restroom, I think.
Okay.
You, thank you. There was an issue in Michigan. There's still an issue in Michigan. It is brewing. In the chairs group, Michigan abstained, but we unanimously voted that if the issue on either side was to be brought before the LNC, that the official position of the region and a region rep would be to request that they not discuss it, not take it up. And if any action was taken up, that our region rep was to vote no on taking any action, regardless of what side it was. That the LNC does not belong in interfering with the affairs of an affiliate, regardless of what side it is. We did suggest with the issue that's going on there, because it's two factions of the party, and everybody is saying this convention was legitimate, this one wasn't, blah, blah, blah. There has been a new convention scheduled specifically for electing new officers. It was strongly recommended by me that the person recognized as the state chair make it as transparent as possible, which is make it a 0 fee to attend. Notice every eligible member in every possible way. Email, letter, postcard, phone call, text message, smoke signals, knock on their door, every way humanly possible to make sure every eligible member knows that they can come and that they do not have to pay a fee. 2, that the convention chair and the convention secretary should not be anyone in this dispute, and it should be somebody from outside the state. That was a stupid thing for me to say.
I can guess.
They said that both factions need to have a representative at the stage overseeing current bylaws. And that they be present, but that the minutes of the meeting and the convention be chaired by somebody else that's from out of state. That is viewed by both groups as a neutral party. That both sides agree that no matter what happens, they will abide by the vote of the membership. And I said that should that not happen, that I would be pushing our region rep to then disavow whatever the other side was. So if one side wins, and it is very clear that it was fair and transparent, that everybody had the right to vote, members cast their vote. This is who won. This is the new leadership. If the other side starts acting the same way, I will recommend and I will personally ask the LNC to provide legal resources to shut that one down. After opening my big mouth, I was asked if I would do it. And I said I would need to talk to my board about it, should that be an official request, because I have specifically said that I will not ever get involved in another state's affairs. I have not been formally asked by both sides, but if it happens, I will be coming to you guys and asking, because I opened my mouth, and I think I'm pretty well known by most of the state chairs as being shockingly unbiased in how I approach things. So that makes me the primary dumbass to be asked to do that. Even if they do ask, I may still say no.
You should do it.
There's a lot of drawback to doing it by getting involved. If one side is still angry, it puts pressure, puts the target on Indiana. So it's something that I would weigh, but if I do decide that I would like to do it, it's just that if asked, I would come to you guys first, assuming I'm still state chair. Apparently, James Siniak is running a NOTA campaign against me. I've just been so informed.
You should move to Greenwood and run for mayor.
Not a bad idea, sir. He actually he sent me a message to let me know that if I've heard this, it's not true. And that he would be willing to publicly endorse me if I need it. And I was like, that's fine, dude. If they want some.
I mean, it would be nice to see now to represent. Like chits and giggles.
No, it doesn't have to open their big fat mouth nearly as often, so.
You need any speakers for NOTA?
There's always NOTA is an option.
I see. Note to yourself.
I just, in case memory has forgotten you, I'm petty and vindictive. I hold a grudge for a really long time.
You're really winning with both.
Actually, it sounds like something I could have fun.
Is there any other announcements from anybody? Mr. Hager?
That's what I have a question. Are we certain that Samuel Yesnick is a member of the party, the new chair of Orange County? Because I can't find it in the city.
Yes. I know I saw it.
Yeah,
Because I saw the membership come through.
Okay.
So,
Find him later, that's fine. I want to just make sure we go on, I can find him later.
yeah, I can't, it may not have been under the name Samuel. It may have been under something else. So just try and searching for that last name.
I can't find anything for that. I don't need this part of this meeting to get it later. For certain, that's all I need.
Yeah, I'm 100%, because I literally got the email with his membership process. Any other announcements or questions? Anything at all? Okay, that's officially everything on the agenda.
Move to adjourn.
Yeah.
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Motion was made by Mr. Rigg. It's Mr. Lundy. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
We are adjourned. All right. I'm gonna turn off the meeting.
It doesn't. When he has to